Those are the offices. These are the cubicles. That's my cubicle there, and this is your cubicle. This is your phone. Never answer your phone. Let the voicemail system answer it. This is your voicemail system manual. There are no personal phone calls allowed. We do, however, allow for emergencies. If you must make an emergency phone call, ask your supervisor first. If you can't find your supervisor, ask Philip Spires. He sits over there. He'll check with Clarissa Nix. She sits over there. If you make an emergency phone call without asking, you may be let go. These are your in and out boxes. All the forms in your inbox must be logged in by the date shown in the upper left-hand corner, initialed by you in the upper right-hand corner, and distributed to the processing analyst whose name is numerically coded in the lower left-hand corner. The lower right-hand corner is left blank. This is your processing analyst numerical code index, and this is your forms processing and procedures manual. You must pace your work. What do I mean? I'm glad you asked that. We pace our work according to the 8-hour workday. So if you have 12 hours of work in your inbox, for example, you must compress that work down into the 8-hour day. If you have 1 hour of work in your inbox, you must expand that work to fill the 8-hour day. That was a good question. Feel free to ask questions. Ask too many questions, however, and you may be let go. That is our receptionist. He's a temp. We go through receptionists here. They quit with alarming frequency. Be polite and civil to the temps. Learn their names, invite them out to lunch occasionally, but do not get too close to them, for it only makes it more difficult when they leave. And they always leave. You can be sure of that. The men's room is over there. The women's room is over there. John LaFontaine, who sits over there, uses the women's room occasionally. He says it's accidental. We know better. We let it pass. John LaFontaine is harmless. His brief forays into the forbidden territory of the women's room are simply a benign thrill, a faint blip on the dull, flat line of his life. Annika Bloom, she sits in that cubicle down there. Last year, while reviewing quarterly reports in a meeting with Barry Hacker, Annika Bloom's left palm began to bleed. She fell into a trance, stared into her hand, and told Barry Hacker when and how his wife would die. We laughed it off. She was, after all, a new employee. But Barry Hacker's wife is dead. So unless you want to know exactly when and how you'll die, never talk to Annika Bloom. Colin Heavey, he sits in that cubicle over there. He was new once, just like you. We warned him about Annika Bloom. But at last year's Christmas potluck, he felt sorry for her when he saw that no one was talking to her. Colin Heavey brought her a drink. He hasn't been himself since. Stay away from Colin Heavey. Never give any of your work to him. If he asks you to do something, tell him you have to check with me. If he asks again, tell him I haven't gotten back to you. This is our kitchenette. And this is our Mr. Coffee. We have a coffee pool into which we each pay $2 a week for coffee, filter, sugar, and Coffee Mate. If you prefer Cremora to Coffee Mate, there is a special pool for $3 a week. If you prefer Sweet and Low to sugar, there is another special pool for $2.50 a week. We do not do decaf. This is our microwave oven. You may heat food in the microwave oven, but you may not, however, cook food in the microwave oven. This is our refrigerator. You may put your lunch in it. We get 1 hour for lunch. We also get one 15-minute break in the morning and one 15-minute break in the afternoon. Always take your breaks. If you skip a break, it is gone forever. I'll have you know that breaks are a privilege, not a right. If you abuse the break policy, they are authorized to rescind your breaks. Lunch, however, is a right, not a privilege. So if you abuse the lunch policy, their hands are tied and they are forced to look the other way. They will not enjoy that. That's Matthew Payne's office. His door is always closed. We have never seen him, and you will never see him. But he's there. He's all around us. Kevin Howard sits in that cubicle over there. He's a serial killer. The one they call the carpet cutter. He's responsible for those mutilations across town.
Don't worry. This compulsion afflicts itself on strangers only. And the routine established is elaborate and unwavering. The precision he inflicts with his carnage is precise. The angle and direction of his incisions, the layering of skin and muscle tissues, the rearranging of his visceral organs, and so on. We are not supposed to know that. So do not let on. Kevin Howard does not allow any of this to interfere with his work. He is in fact our fastest typist. He types as if he's on fire.
In any case, when Kevin Howard gets caught, act surprised. Say he was always a nice person. A little bit of a loner perhaps, but always quiet and polite. This is our photocopier. And this is our view. Faces southwest. West is down that way. North is back there. Because we are on the 17th floor, we are afforded a magnificent view. Isn't it beautiful? If you look down that way, you can see a sliver of the bay between those two buildings over there. And over there, you can see the tops of those trees between those two buildings. That's where the park is. And you can see this building reflected in the glass panels of that building across the way. Enjoy this view while photocopying. If you have any problems with the photocopier, see Russell Nash. If you have any questions, ask your supervisor. If you can't find your supervisor, ask Philip Spires. He sits over there. He'll check with Clarissa next. She sits over there. And if you can't find them, feel free to ask me. That's my cubicle. I sit in there.